Good morning, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here.
And good morning, good morning.
There we go. All right, let me put it in full screen. All right, so now you all are over here on my screen. So I'm going to move you over here. So I'm looking at you. That work? The joys of virtual life. So welcome everyone to the HackHPC at PEARC21 Slack and GitHub training. Now, just for me, I'm gonna put you to work for a second. By a show of hands, now for pre-Zoom life, people didn't know what I was talking about here, but I'm gonna, by a show of hands, I mean by reacting, using the reacting bar. How many in this group have been a part of any type of hackathon previously? How many of you all? Let's see what we got here. So we have one. Now, Rich, I know you were part of hackathon, and I know that Jocelyn and Pinakini was. There we go. Now we're starting to get them. All right. So we have a few. that have been a part of hackathon before. Excellent. Well, as you can see by the list, unless they just haven't hit the react button, we can see that the vast majority of us here, or the vast majority of those here, have never participated in a hackathon before. So this is going to be a little bit interesting. And that's a good thing. And you'll see why as we progress through the hackathon and things like that. Let's go ahead and get into our slide deck here. Now, I want to let you know the slide deck is minimal. For those of you that may be concerned, let me put this way so that that's out of my way. So we're going to do some introductions. We're going to talk about our objectives, the deliverables and resources, some general information, and then we're going to talk about Slack and GitHub, and you'll see why they are so important as a part of our hackathon here. But before I get started, I'd be remiss not to mention our organizers for the hackathon. So the five of us have worked together for the past 4 years doing hackathons. And actually the first one was at PEARC21, where we were all in a room for 56 hours straight. We learned a lot from that hackathon, like make sure to include time for sleep. So it has grown and it's become a wonderful thing, and I get to work with these great people with the hackathon over these couple of years. Having said that, our members are Alexander Milt. You just missed him. He's in the University of Charter 2, so it is about 7 or 8 o'clock at night where he is right now. Amy Cannon, part of Omnibond. She's almost like the heart of our group. One of the first to come on board from Omnibond. Dr. Hayden, the visionary that started this out from the beginning, which I think I can safely say just about everybody on this Zoom knows Dr. Hayden or has a link to Dr. Hayden. Boyd Wilson, who is also a very strong proponent for the hackathons and a technical whiz, especially when it comes to Cloudy Cluster. And we also have one of his coworkers here, Rich Assay, who has become an integral part of the hackathon as well. And then myself, Jamie Powell, or Jamie. I am a member from the University of Texas, from the Texas Advanced Computing Center. And we are very pleased to welcome you, and we look forward to getting to know you as we go through this process. So the objective of HackHPC is to harness the resources, skills, and knowledge found in the HPC community in an effort to provide application towards students of 2 to 4 year universities. All of this, what this is really saying is in class, when you're in class, a lot of times you're lectured to, and you're given very constrained, scope defined problems that you work on as homework assignments or even projects. The purpose of the hackathon is to take real world problems that mean something to you, and to then use data science and cloud computing and HPC information to dig into that problem. And while you're doing it, because it's important to you, you learn skills along the way. You'll have increased familiarity with data science and cloud, experience collaborating in collaborative software engineering. That's going to be fun. Just letting you know, it's going to be fun. You're going to develop some professional communication skills. We do present, we talk, we interact. But the big important thing is for you all as participants to know that we're there for you. The competition is great. Your final product, of course, is very important, but for we, the mentors and organizers and the helpers, the most important thing for us is to support you, the participants. So just know that going in, you're more important than the work. But we do expect some things from you. So it is a competition. Even though we don't stress the competition is hard, there are prizes, cash prizes, just letting you know. But in order to complete the hackathon and for your team to be eligible for those prizes, we require some things from you. The first is you need to create a repository on GitHub for your team. And on that repository, it needs to have your source code with comments in it so that you can look at it later, a PDF of the presentation you give that includes your team members with pictures of them, and how you use HPC technology in the project, outside of course, explaining your project. You need to turn in your GitHub link of that repository. And in that repository, there's a file called a README.md. That MD stands for Markdown, project description. For those of you that have never heard of GitHub or have never used GitHub, of course, that's one of the things we're going to go over today. Some of your resources are, of course, the mentors and specialists, Slack for ad hoc communication, which again is something we're going over today. Google Cloud has provided credits and Cloudy Cluster provided by Omnibon. So with those two things, it gives you a set of technologies that you can use that's not reliant upon your personal computer. So that way everybody's on an even playing field. Those two components, the Google Cloud and Cloudy Cluster components, will be reviewed next Tuesday by Mr. Rich Assay. He'll actually give us a presentation and training on that. Some of the most commonly used software packages and languages include Python, Jupyter Notebooks, Node.js, so JavaScript, HTML, HTML5, and of course, data sets. Some of general information. You're going to hear this again and again and again and again. So for the teams, now I'm going to have to move you just a little bit so I can actually see my slides. Sorry about that. The teams are generally composed of 4 to 5 students. We found that magic number to be about 4, just to let you know. 1 primary mentor, and then 1 specialist or staff or floater for the team. Some of y'all are immediately going to ask, but I don't know who my team is. That's fine, because we're going to have team formation on the first night. You don't have to make up your mind right now what you want to do. The important part now is to kind of just have a little bit of information about what's going to happen, some of the technologies that you know are in your tool belt and available to you, and then to move forward. So everything kicks off on July 8th. That's a Thursday. That night is a very fun night because we get to do our team formation. You get to get a little bit of information as far as in how our project goes. Rich will actually give a presentation on one of the former projects, so you can see how it came together. And then we'll have check-ins, 2 check-ins a day, and we'll ask for things with you. There may be little competitions involved and cash prizes that go along with that, so just let you know. And then the most important day is, of course, the 12th at 6 p.m. Eastern, where we're going to actually present our final projects. We have judges that come in from the industry and from academia, that come in and judge. Now, when we say judge, we're going to tell you what we're looking for, but generally it comes down to collaboration, project impact, and your ability to present it. So don't think everything has to be perfect, because it won't be, I promise you. Some of the topic examples are listed there. As you see, they're across the board, everything from social justice to AI-based crowd status. Actually, Jocelyn's group did that, where you can take a picture of a crowd, throw it in, or a person, and it will actually tell you the emotion of them, so that you can know if this is a positive crowd or a not so positive crowd. And that can, of course, inform authorities and things. Graduation rates, broadband access, weather systems, or systems to improve things like clouded cluster or access to HPC, just to give you a few ideas. And of course, analysis of COVID-19 has been on a lot of people's minds, so we had a few projects on that as well. Having said that, you all need to know how to talk. You all are spread all over this country. And so you need a method to easily communicate, not only with your mentor and the helpers and the organizers, but with each other. And so Slack is our main piece of software to do that. Now, many of you have used Discord before, I'm sure. Slack is very similar to it. If you haven't, know that there is just a little bit of a learning curve, and that's why we go over it a little bit, because it's a little bit different. And then, of course, GitHub, where you're going to be placing your projects. So, Slack basics. The first thing you need to know is we have a Slack team. Yay, makes sense. It's called cloudhpchack.slack.com. If you have your phones, now's the time that you should grab your phone, snap a picture of the QR code, and go ahead and join the Slack channel. It will become more and more important as we go. Announcements will be sent through it. Your team will be communicating through it, as well as your mentors. Granted, this is something you can do on Thursday, but every email you receive from me from now on will have this information in it to ensure that you are part of the Slack team and you're part of that information. It allows you to directly message both individuals as well as the group through things called channels. It allows you to video conference, including screen share, ad hoc. What that means is if ever you need to connect with anyone, you can. It can exist on your phone, it can exist on your computer. You can transfer files and things. It is an extremely powerful tool that we actually pay for because we believe in it so much. Having said that, like I said, there's a little bit of a learning curve. So groups of people together in Slack are called channels. And the most important channel to you all will be PEARC21-HackHQ-General. If you use that QR code I just sent, that QR code will immediately put you into that channel, enroll you in that channel. Another channel that a lot of people are quite often use is assistance. So if you hit a sticking point during the hackathon, that assistance channel is there, wherein all of the helpers and mentors are there where we can exchange ideas and solutions. And then we have custom team channels. So your team will actually create a channel that's just for your team. You have your mentor and, of course, your fellow group members. Having said that, the term competition, the reason we don't push it is because we're all here to help each other. We all have different skill sets. We all have different things that we feel comfortable with or ideas that could help someone else. In the hackathons, one of the things you're going to see we stress is that we're family. We're here to help each other. Don't get me wrong, the competition is great. But the fact is, what you take away from the hackathon and the connections you make between each other are the things that are most important. So don't be scared to talk to any of the other teams. If you see them present something that looks really cool or is a solution to something that you've been stuck on, ask them. And to that team that receives that message, answer. It's okay. We're here to help each other. One of the things I did want to show here is browsing for a channel. So in Slack, you're going to have a bunch of information. But next to channels, you'll have a little plus button, if you can see it, number 1, that allows you to browse for channels. So let's say one of your group members, your mentor specifically, created a custom team channel. You can browse for it and then join that channel. You can create groups, like I just said. In all likelihood, your mentor will create the group for you. And then you can also video conference. So let's say that we need to meet right now because we have a problem. You can hop into your group, and on number 3, you'll see there's a little telephone there that will allow you to video conference. Now, there's some of you that are like, this is easy, I've done this before, I know all this. That's fine. I'm telling you personally, from me, the first time I got into Slack, I was like, what in the world? And so I wanted to make sure you all need it. Those of you that need this information, have it. Before I jump into GitHub, I'm going to stop this share. And I'm going to pop up my Slack just so that you can see it. I'm going to go ahead and hit share. And I'm going to select my Slack channel. There we go. So inside of Slack, right now, I'm a part of quite a few teams. I've actually removed some because it got ridiculous. But right now I'm in the HackHPC hack. You see, I have the PEARC21 HackHQ general channel. So Rich, would you mind sending me a message real quick? I think Rich is there. He's digging, pulling it up. Who knows what craziness Rich is going to show. But as you can see who's typing. And in a moment, there we go. You can see that we get messages from them. So that's not that big a deal. Now I can reply to them, I can add reactions, all that good stuff. This is all things we've seen in other chat systems and things. But what if I wanted to actually message Rich himself? Well, of course, I can click on him and hit message. That's fine if I know that he's there. But what if I didn't know he was there? So a couple ways we can do that. The first is I can scroll down to the bottom, look for direct messages. I can click the plus button and then type in his name. So let's say we want to talk to Rich, just he and I one-on-one. As you see, we hop into a little window and I can say, hey there, buddy. That, generally speaking, is the hard part. People kind of get caught up on this because you want to search here and it just doesn't do a good job. Direct messages if you want to talk directly to a person, and then channels if you want to talk to the group. And that's Slack. Are you here for this? Yes. This actually helps so that you can see the different things prior to having to have to use them. So let's get back to our slides here. Share the right one, Jamie. I'm doing that. I'm getting there. There it is. Maybe. Should be in there. There we go. All right. Now for GitHub. I want to warn you. GitHub has 3 different ways that are most commonly used, and then there are a slew of others that are built into programs, ways that you can use GitHub itself. There are local Git branches, and there are public Git branches. There's a program that's built into a lot of computers or either added to computers called Git that's related to GitHub, but GitHub is the public version that Microsoft owns now to use. If all that sounds confusing, it's because it is sometimes. I'm going to show you one way that I know that everyone can use GitHub without a problem. And I'll be demoing that in a moment. Before I do, I want you to actually see 2 versions of GitHubs so you can see just how different they can be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to HackHPC.org and go to our past hacks. So I'm going to actually escape out of my slides. I'm going to go to the main hackathon site, which is HackHPC.org. So you all have seen this because you came here and signed up. And if you didn't, sign up. We need you to sign up so we have your information. Up at the top, I'm going to go to past hacks. And then the past hacks link. As you see, we have previous competitions here leading all the way back to our first one. We've always used GitHub. Taking a look at HackHPC let's take a look at one of the team's websites. So the team name is BizPipeline1. And we're going to go to GitHub. And this is a general GitHub repository. Now, the purpose of GitHub is to, it's actually a program that allows you to track changes in documents. It was specifically made to track changes in programmatic documents, so track changes in code. When you start working with a lot of different people on the same project, it can start to get a little bit confusing. But that's the purpose of it. There are a lot of resources out there in order to use it, and of course, we'll be here to help you as well. There's some people that use GitHub in ways that I can't even begin to describe. There are others that just use it very simply. In our case, I'm looking at that simple version. Do not get caught up in the fact that one of your fellow teammates may use GitHub in a very crazy way. You can use whatever method you personally feel comfortable with. So inside of this repository, now remember, I said in deliverables, you need to have your code. So here's an example of their code. Back up. I said that they needed to have their presentation, so their PowerPoint. So let me take a look here. Let's see if Brandy's team did what they were supposed to do. Kaggle, I'm looking for it here. PDF, there we go, slides. So we see that they have their slides. And we see picture, and Richard's actually part of this team as well as the group pictures and names. Back up. And I said that their README.md, the README.markdown file, needs to be created, have some information about the team, which theirs does, including some pictures. So they had everything they needed for their project: code, README.md, and their slides with the pictures of the team members and whatnot. I'm going to show you a different version of a GitHub. So this is a very simple one. They can add files to it, create new files, upload. The way they created the repository is an individual from their team. In this case, I'm logged in as me, with the plus and new repository. Plus a new repository. But let me show you a different version. So if I scroll back, way back here apparently, there we go. Back on the Hackathon site, so back to past hacks, I'm a little bit too far. And let's look at the Hackathon GitHub. So this is the event site for that. This is actually still a GitHub page. Well, wait, it looks like a web page. Yes, it does. It's called a GitHub Pages. And it's one of the settings you have in there. I'm not going to go into how to do it. What I will say is there's information out there for it. And what it does is that README.md, it actually turns it into a web page. So if I click here on View on GitHub, notice this says README.md. It's just that file that I created. And then said, be a GitHub page. And it turned into this. So it's just one more thing I wanted to put out there for you so that you're aware. You notice that the web link also changed. GitHub can be as complicated or as easy as you'd like it to be. But know that resources are out there, both including we the mentors and organizers and things can help you, as well as plenty of videos on YouTube and plenty of resources on the net. I think I've said enough about GitHub. Let's go ahead and hop in. So we did our demo. Now we're going to go into questions and concerns. Like I said, this particular presentation is very straightforward, just to give you some introductory information, just so that you know what's going on. And for those that have never used Slack and never used GitHub, have a basis from which to work. Having said that, thank you for coming. Don't disappear, because I do want to answer any questions and things from you. But all the information is here in this slide deck, as well as video, will be available on the primary, on our primary website. And I hit stop share before I meant to, so let me go back there. And let me go back there. Sorry about that. So if I exit out of our slides and I go back to our main HackHPC.org site, up in the upper right-hand corner is our primary event site. This PEARC21 Hack Hub. If you're on a mobile device, if you scroll down, there's another link to it that will show up for you, the PEARC21 Hack Hub. But this is our main website. So if you haven't seen this from the email that was sent, this is a site you definitely want to bookmark or keep available to you, because all of our scheduled events will appear here. As you see, we have a prior meeting slide, so that's from last year. Now we're going to update these to this event slides based on today's presentations and videos. But our very next training session is going to take place next week. Google Cloud and Google Compute Cloud and Cloudy Cluster, which say will be taking place or given that presentation. The links to that will be sent to you just like this one was, as well as the schedule of our events. And we will be adding the ICS files here for you all, so you can add it to your calendar easily. So this site is the one you want to keep up with most. So having said that, I'm going to go ahead and stop the share. And I'm going to stop recording. Thank you for joining us.